France. I was like, look, Mama, I did it.
You know, it's funny because I had some help from them as well. So I can't remember how I found out about it. It might have been through networking or just doing some Googling, but I did a course. It was a 5-day course with Prince's Trust, and it was to help you kind of make a business plan and learn a little bit about bookkeeping. And Business Gateway, I've done loads of different courses and things through them. And I don't know about you. It sounds like you've had a similar experience, but I was really impressed with how much support is out there for small businesses in Scotland.
Yes, I agree, because I am from France, okay? And French people love papers. You have to do a lot of paper, go to the administration, have so many things to do. I was so surprised that all I needed to have a business here was to have an account, a business. That's it. I was like, what? That's why actually I contacted Business Gateway, because as I don't know the laws here and I'm not sure how it works, I wanted to have oh my God, I'm losing my words. But I wanted to have their feedback, and I needed to know if I was doing great, because I have a corporate job as well. Having a small business on the side, is it good? Is it not good? Am I allowed to do it or not? So I had a few questions for that, and they were very, very helpful, very helpful.
Yeah, and I mean, those are the kind of questions when you're starting out that you want to know. I think for a lot of us starting small businesses, myself included, we're not, I mean, unless if you have the means to just go for it, then by all means. But for a lot of us, we do keep our sort of corporate 9 to 5, whatever our stable income is, and try and do our creative business on the side until we build it up to a point that we can rely on it. And it is really tough, because you're working, you know, you work all day and then you're coming home and then you're working all night, and you're working at the weekends.
Yes.
It's a labor of love, and it's good because you're passionate about it and you're building something for you, but having a little bit of support to know that you're on the right track, you're not doing anything illegal, especially for people like us who are not citizens and are living somewhere else. You're quite worried that you get kicked out of the country. So that's good that you found that support.
Absolutely. And even with my HR, was like, can I, do things, or am I going to get fired because I cannot have a second job? But they reassured me, and they said, it's out of your job hours, so you're fine. Don't worry, you can do it. There is no problem. So I was very, very pleased to hear that. And my company actually follows me on social media.
Oh, that's really good. See, I love when I hear stories like that, because you do hear it, with a lot of sort of corporate jobs or big companies or things like that, they don't really have much appreciation for that. And I don't know if they would actually have the grounds to tell you couldn't do it. As you say, you're doing it out with work hours. It's not a conflict of interest. It's totally different industries, but it's nice that your workplace has actually been quite supportive of it as well.
Yes, they have been. And my experience in Scotland altogether, it is a good experience, because everybody has been so nice, supportive, helping. I'm saying my company is following me, and even some of the pictures that I have on my social media, I took it at work, because the place I work is very beautiful. So I just asked my boss, can I take pictures here? He was like, yeah, suit yourself. You can go there. That is good. You can go here. I was like, okay. This is very great. And people have been very, very, very helpful here in Scotland for me. So this is also part of my journey that I appreciate being in Scotland. Scottish people have been very good to me. And yeah, that's why I'm still here after 3 years. Maybe I'll stay even more. I don't know.
That's good to hear. I've had the same experience, and I think, as I said before, I never really tried to run my business as a business back in Canada, so I don't really want to compare and contrast the two, but yeah, I felt like there's such a nice community of small business owners here, and we've spoken a little bit about networking and just meeting other business owners and how helpful that is, because it can be quite a lonely job. You seem like quite a friendly, chatty person. I've always been quite an extrovert as well. I really like people, and a lot of my job anyway, and probably yours as well, is the behind the scenes. It's building a website, it's social media, it's all that marketing. For me, it's editing. For you, it'll be actually physically making the clothes. A lot of that is done solo, and it can feel, when you're having a tough day or something doesn't go to plan, it feels like you kind of have no one there. And I know it's not the same, talking to somebody on social media or through a screen or on Zoom as we are now, but it will make you feel less alone. And I can go, oh, right, you've dealt with that too. You've had that experience. You're also having a tough day. It really does help.
Absolutely. And as you said, it can be very tiring. And for me, I work from 9 to 5, and then I come home and I have to sew. So I have to be on the sewing machine. And on weekends, I have to sew as well, or I have to send orders, or I have to do the pictures. So I have to see someone, I have to be there and there. And it's like I'm always working. But the thing is, because it's my passion, sewing, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like a hobby, and meeting people feels like a hobby. So it is tiring, but it's not that bad. And this is why I'm keeping doing it, because it's like a hobby, but it can be very tiring though. It really can be.
No, you're right. And I think this is the thing. You wouldn't start a small creative business if you weren't passionate about it, because it is so much work and so much goes into it. And even for me, like it's been 3 years since I gave up my other job. So 3 years I've been doing this. This is my only income. And even now, I'm still struggling to find a work-life balance. And it's not because I'm so overrun with work that I can't keep up. It's not that. It's just, it's hard to turn your brain off when you're really excited about what you're doing. Yeah, you think about
it. My brain is always working. I'm always having ideas. Like I see something, I'm like, oh, I should do that for my business. Oh, I should take a picture here because it's nice. So I'm always thinking. It's so true.
I know, it's really interesting. And even I find things like, sometimes I'll see something, I'll go, I should take a picture of that because that would be really good to share on social media. Like just things like that. It's like your brain always, even on your days off or when you're not doing anything work related, you're always tying it back in. It's kind of interesting how that happens just organically. You don't mean it to.
Absolutely. I am the same. I'm on social media. I'm like, okay, I should put this picture and then this picture, and then I'm going to create that content so it will complement. But I do it, unintentionally. It just comes and I just think about it and it just happens. This is the passion of it. This is good.
I think that is just having creative passion. You can't turn it on and off. You either have it or you don't.
No.
And it's maybe a blessing and a curse sometimes, because it is hard to take a proper break.
Yes, but I have to say for the holidays, because with the face mask, I had a lot of orders and it wasn't, how to say that? I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. Because I just posted a picture of me and I was like, should I sell that? And people on my social media said, yes, you should. So I started to do masks, and one person buys, one person, and then, oh, I saw somebody wearing your mask, so I wanted to, which is very good for me. But I've been doing masks from March until July, and then I went in France for holidays, and I actually needed a break of not touching my sewing machine.
I agree.
You have sometimes to have a break, otherwise you will have a burnout, and this is not what I want. I love sewing, and this is my hobby, and this is my business, but I don't want it to become something that I don't want to do, or I hate doing, or I'm like, I still have to do that. I don't want to get there. So you have sometimes to pause yourself just to take your breath and then go back.
I think you're right, because you don't want to lose your passion for something. And for yourself, you started out just sewing for yourself. I was the same with photography. I was just really interested in photography and I wanted to kind of get better at it and learn it. But what I've realized is that if I take on too much work, as you said there with your masks, you got a lot busier than you thought you were going to in a short period of time, which is great from a business perspective. But from a creative one, if it starts to feel like a grind, you do start to lose some of that passion. And I think you're right. It's so important to take a break when you start to feel that happening, because otherwise I think you would dig yourself deeper. And then what if you can't get that passion back? You never want to get to that point.
Absolutely. And even the products, every product that I do it with my heart. So if I don't feel like it, I prefer not doing it, because I want to give my best for the product for my customer. So when the customer wears it, he's very happy because it's well made. So if I'm starting to feel this way, I will not be showing good products, and the customer at the end will not be happy. So it is good for me to take a break, but also for my future customer.
Oh, you're right. And I'm the same. I don't find it as much with the brand photography work because it tends to be shorter sessions. And it's a little bit different, but I have another business for my wedding and family photography. And a lot of wedding photographers in the summer will work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes a Thursday as well. And they're shooting back-to-back weddings, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't do that because exactly what you just said, I can't honestly say that I have the same energy and the same passion on a Sunday that I did for the Thursday. I just can't, I don't have it in me. I find photography takes a lot out of me, especially with something like a wedding where I could be there for 10 or 12 hours. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to deliver my best product. And that's not fair to that couple or that family or that brand. So I actually really limit how much work I take in any given week. And for things like weddings, I'll pretty much never do back to back. I won't do Friday, Saturday, because I know that I need that time in between to recharge. And I think that's something that you learn as you go, but I think that's really good business practice. And it's something that I actually use in my marketing to let people know that, you know, I'm not someone who just takes on a ton of work and then puts in a minimal effort at the end.
Exactly. I think it's also a work ethic, and it is important to take that into consideration, because what you want, having a business is great, but what you need is having customers, because otherwise it's not a business, you know. And the final user needs to be satisfied. For me, this is how it works. And this is why I want to deliver the best quality product as I can.
That's true. And I think customer service is so important, and especially so when you're a small business, because it's not that if you got one bad review or you had one customer that didn't come back that it would ruin your business, because at some point, let's face it, that's probably going to happen. You can't please everyone, no matter how much you put into what you do. There might be someone who just doesn't like what you do, or who just isn't happy with the experience, whether that's your fault or their fault or whatever happens. But for me, so much of my business comes in through referrals. Sounds like it's similar to you. Someone will say, oh, you did this for my friend, or my friend got this from you. Can you do it for me? So that having those referrals and those repeat customers, it's so valuable. And you want to make sure that everybody that finishes their experience with you is leaving with a good experience and is going to shout out about you and doesn't have anything bad to say about you. And I think that's a really good thing to aspire to, but it's also quite challenging to keep that up all the time and to keep trying to improve.
Absolutely. But this is why it's a journey. It's a journey where you learn. It's a journey where you can make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. You just get back up and learn from it. And it's part of the journey. You cannot take it off.
No, you're right. And I think as long as you learn from an experience, then some good has come out of it anyways. And I think too, as long as you care, that becomes very clear in what you do. So let's say that you do mess up and someone has a less than perfect experience with you, whatever the reason. I think if you own up to that and you let them know that it's important to you, that you make it up to them and you do everything you can, even if their experience at the start wasn't great, they've left going, she really cares about what she does. It's important to her that I'm happy, that she fulfills what I was expecting. That says something as well. It shows that you really care about the customer and not just go, well, you know, take some, you lose some, because I don't think that's a great attitude to have as a small business.
Absolutely. I had a customer. She lives in Air. So basically her daughter bought a mask from me, and for herself and for her boyfriend. And her mother loved it. So her daughter, she just referred me to her, and she said, she's a great person and her products are great. You should try yourself. So she ordered as well, and she paid for the shipping. Then she sent me a message and said, oh no, don't ship it. I will come and get it. And for me, she already paid for the shipping. She lives in Air. I live in Air. I was like, that's not cool for her to come at me. I will just come at her because she lives in air anyway. So I called her and I said, can I come and deliver the mask to you? And she was like, wow, my daughter told me you had a great customer service, but this is more than great. You are going to deliver it at home. This is very good. So I just went and I gave her her mask and we had a WeChat